Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, please view the previous episodes. Happy listening.
Now, during the whole breakup, in the very, very beginning, I would look at her social media, and then it was just too fucking painful. It was just too painful to look at his or hers. So I didn't. I didn't for all that period of time. You know what? The pain was more horrendous than the curiosity. The curiosity, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to see. I'm going to see something that's going to set me back like weeks of trying to move ahead. So like people are like, how could you not do that? I was like, how could I when I know exactly what I'm going to see. I'm going to see them together. It doesn't matter whether they're happy. They're going to look like they're happy. And it's just going to, any kind of progress that I made during that period, it's going to set me back twofold. Okay. So I didn't. I had no idea what was going on with him. Again, when his sister contacted me, I just assumed. I knew she would do the breaking up. I knew he would not do the breaking. I knew that no matter how that situation went, he would not do the breaking up. So when we kind of had that interaction where he was poor me, poor me, poor me, I did not look at his social media. Did not. At this point, we have contact, and I still did not look at his social media. It did not matter. I knew he was still with her, and I knew he was miserable. What else, whatever I see, even if it's like happy, joy, it's not happy. I don't care, right? Okay. So I go to sleep one day, and I have a dream. And I wake up, and as soon as I wake up, I'm like in the literally the twilight zone. That's what it is. It's not really you're awake, but it's not really you're asleep. It's the in-between state. I'm in this kind of half coming out of sleep state. And the first thing that runs through my mind is look at her Facebook page. Look at her Facebook page. Look at her Facebook page. And that, I don't know if it was something I was dreaming about. And so when I came out of the dream, it was like resounding in my head. But I felt compelled to look at her Facebook page. Now, I don't know why. I know it, I know it's a joke, this relationship. I know he's not happy. As far as we know, I know she's not pregnant. I mean, as far as, why do I need to? But again, it was like this mantra, this resounding thing. I look at her Facebook page. Now, he breaks up with me. He goes out with her. I stop looking at their social media. It's my birthday. His sister contacts me. He's, saying I did not put her up to that. Have not looked at their Facebook or social media page. And I look on it and it says engaged. They're engaged. And so they started officially dating the end of January, the beginning of February, and they got engaged by March, April. I was like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? I don't even know who you are right now. Okay. I mean, obviously, I didn't know who you are when you were like getting rid of me, but I really don't know who the fuck you are. I just figured, whatever. You didn't love me. You didn't want me. You didn't want this anymore, even though you kept saying you did. You got rid of me. that didn't work out, you wouldn't be stupid enough to stay and you'd move on and whatever. Like we've all done, like I've done throughout my whole dating relationship, good, bad, or indifferent. I kept it moving, okay? So at this point, I break silence, right? I break silence because now I'm like, ho, 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 ho. I'm calling you. I'm giving it to you with 4 verbal barrels, okay? Now, at this point, I know he's going to be at work. This was like a Saturday morning, and I knew in like two hours he would be at work, okay? Because I didn't want to get him when he was half asleep. I wanted to face him. Okay, I didn't want to hear. What do you say? What what? I love her. Whatever. I didn't want anything incoherent, is what I'm saying. Okay. So, I know he's been at work for at least like 45 minutes. Let him get in, let him settle, whatever, right? Because I want his undivided attention. So I call him and he picks up and I said, "You're engaged?" I said, "You're fucking engaged?" I said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Well, I said, "Are you so pathetic that you don't want to be alone?" And he's like, "Well, nobody wants to be alone." I said, "Is that what you're doing?" Okay. We're talking. At some point, he has to go, obviously, because he's at work. We start communicating at this point. So we're having this back and forth conversation on text, right? And again, I'm under the impression that she's pregnant. He's alluding to the fact I had to grow up quick. I had to step up. I had to do this. I had to do that. Like, because if she's not pregnant, there's the door, asshole. Fucking leave. I don't get it, right? Anyway, because he dug his grave, and he is more concerned about like a warm body in his presence than he is about quality. So I called his sister and I said, "Did Greg get her pregnant? Is that why he's like so beside himself and he's like, I can't get out of this and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Not that we know of. Like he's not said anything." She said to me, "He's not said anything to me or my family." She said, "All I know is I try to listen into his conversations and they sound like basically like unpleasant. There's no love, there's no joy, there's no compatibility. It's just this drama back and forth." She goes, "But I can't always hear what's going on, but I can hear basically she's like, I can hear the tone of what's going on." I was like, "Well, then why doesn't he just get rid of her?" And she started spilling beans to me like, yeah, she's been nothing but trouble. We've been trying to get her away from him. He won't leave, blah, 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 blah. So at some point, I don't know if his sister asked me to come over or I felt like she was asking me to come over and I volunteered. It was such a long time ago and I was so emotional. I can't tell you which one it was. It was either she asked me to come over or I could tell she wanted me to come over and I said, do you want me to come over?" Somehow I agree to coming over. This is the part that I'm ashamed about. Okay? This is the part that I'm ashamed about because why? You're not going to take him back. And I was hell-bent on not giving into that because why? You want to come back now that it's not all fun and sunshine and roses and butterflies? Of course you do. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So I know my actions and my words and all of this is not consistent, but this is what it's like being human, right? This is what it's like being a person. It's not consistent. But just to let you know, I decided after that weekend I was never going to say it. Didn't matter what he said or what he did, because I knew if he happened to say it, it would be for his benefit, not for genuineness. That time had passed, okay? So I go over his house and he goes, "I can't be there." And I'm like, "Why? You can't fucking face me?" And he's like, "No, because she's going to wonder where I am." And I said, "Tell her that you fucking went to the mall or you're having your tires changed." Like, I don't get why you're such a fucking prick. No, no, no. She'll see right through me. But I don't know. He starts going on about something. So it was very painful driving over his house, because those were all the roads and times that were so good and so wonderful and loving and happy and everything, that I thought it was. Okay, so it was very difficult, but I get there. Now, okay, I'm expecting, okay, this is like not these exact words, but something along these lines. "Chrissy Incognito, we're so thankful you're here. It's been a mess since you left. We're so sorry that we encouraged this like fucking nimnod shit and all this kind of stuff." Okay. I know it's ego driven, but you and your son's life is a mess right now because of what you encouraged. But I said to Greg a long time ago, if you could be that influenced by another party, I don't fucking want you. Because that seemed to be a common thing while we were breaking up too. I knew his parents were in his ear. "Oh, you'll always wonder what if, do you want kids, blah, 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 blah." I know it. I know it was, okay? So I just assumed there was going to be like some kind of admission of them helping to create this situation. Okay. So I sit down and everybody's looking at the mother. Okay. Now, you got to remember, it's been 10 months since I've seen everybody. Okay. I've had to do a lot of reflecting and a lot of piecing together and a lot of eye opening. It wasn't that I meant to close my eyes, but things that I didn't realize or notice, the codependence of the family, of Greg, of that, I now am way more aware of. Okay. So they're sitting around the table and they're all looking at the mom. Okay. And I know exactly what probably happened. You don't say anything. No, I don't even know why they're having me over, but even more so, I don't even know why I'm going over there. But I know basically what the conversation was before I got there. You let me do the talking. Don't say too much. Don't let her know how miserable he is. Blah, blah. That's why when we all sat down, they all looked at her. Why are you looking at her? So I looked at her, but I looked at her to be like, you think you got all this under control? You think you have all the answers? You start with the dialogue, because I've had many relationships, very many dynamics, a lot of situations that you people have not. And I also had time to reflect on this whole codependent like family. So I see a lot of things that they're not aware of. Okay, so I look at her and the first thing she says, okay, is, "We didn't know it would turn out like this." And I wanted to say, "Oh, a little guilty about what you encouraged." I didn't. I'd say that now. But that was the first words that came out of her mouth. "We didn't know it would go like this." And a lot of the conversation was a blur, but basically there was conversation going on. So I need to backtrack. Hold on. So there's conversation going on. And I said, I just don't understand why he doesn't leave. I said, his sister said that she wasn't pregnant, as far as you people know. And they looked uncomfortable when I said that. Of course you did. I said, so I don't understand why he feels bad for her. Okay. Feel bad from her at a distance. Make her the friend, I wanted to say he tried to make me the friend, make her the friend. He had no problem putting somebody in that position of, swapping you out. And so I said the engagement happened less than 6 months after they started dating. And the father was like, yeah, that did kind of happen kind of soon. I was like, you pieces of fucking shit. Don't act like, oh, you're just coming to this realization now. You're the ones that gave them a fucking engagement party that you never wanted to give me, because, again, gotta have grandkids. How can I be the perfect grandmother if I can't have grandkids? How can I be the perfect mother unless I have kids? So it's all about the kids, but it's all about the kids so I can be important. But we'll get into that later. So the conversation's just going around and everything. I don't really remember what took place. But I realized it wasn't going anywhere. There wasn't any kind of, he misses you, he wants you back. We didn't understand how serious I don't know, something. Or I don't know. It just wasn't going anywhere. So I looked at the time and I was like, yeah, I've got to go. Now they're interacting, right? And I'm starting to see the codependence, and I'm just the dynamics of what they're saying and how they're saying, never mean to each other. I mean, because if a family was like screaming and like cursing and yelling, I'd be like, I'm out of here. Like, you people got bigger problems than me. It wasn't like that, but I could kind of tell a dynamics that I had never seen before. Okay. Again, what I'm about to say, I'm not proud of. But again, it was probably ego, and like I wanted to hear what I felt like I should be hearing, that I needed to hear. And I don't know. But do not forget, I already made my decision not to take him back. I know this is so inconsistent, because especially my like very no tolerant relationship. I'm very like black and white, like, you're an asshole, you're done. You're here, like, this is working, let's keep it going, So I know that this is not consistent, and I'm part embarrassed of that too. So one day, I don't know how honestly this transpired. He came over my house. No sex happened. Please, I wouldn't be that stupid. He came over my house, but I was stupid enough to have him in my house, to have communication with him, to even deal with him. But again, it was under a year. This was still difficult for me. And so he came over my house. And when he came over my house, this is when he told me all the things he did not know not to tell an ex-girlfriend, or not to tell somebody that doesn't like you. Okay. He started telling me all of it. I can't get rid of her. She treats me like a worthless piece of shit. She kept asking me in the beginning of our relationship, are you going to marry me? I kept saying to her, no. She kept saying, well, then I've got to go find somebody on Tinder. I was like, that's a hookup site, Greg. I was like, she really what? And I said to him, because I kept calling her a bimbo to him, but I didn't know whether she was or she wasn't. And I said, so she really was a bimbo. And he just he looked confused, like, yeah, that's true. That does make a bimbo, whatever. So I was like, so we're going out for 5 years. You don't give me this much. She threatens to go on Tinder and she gets an engagement ring. I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, he's not really answering, but he's continuing to speak. She comes from a bad relationship. Her parents got mad at her that I didn't ask them for her hand. I'm sorry, I know I get the pronouns mixed up. Her parents are mad at me or mad at us because I didn't ask them for her hand. So and as soon as she brought me home, the mother was on the couch, looked at me and said, "What is this?" Because he looks young, he looks like a kid. So at that point, again, she's trying to get out of the house but still keep her codependent relationship, her fucked up relationship with her parents. So I want to leave, but I want to leave on good terms, okay? At that point, she can't give Greg up because that's the only way out of this fucked up situation. And so instead of either being like, this is who I love, or you got to go, my parents don't like you, it's I want it both ways. So she gets thrown out. Now, Greg's living with his parents. His parents already know that's a fucked up situation. And honestly, even if it wasn't, they still wouldn't allow that. It's just how they are. Okay. So now she has to live with her grandparents. Now she's blaming him for everything. It's because we got engaged that I got thrown out of the house and you did this to me and blah, 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 blah. And it's all this crap and drama and everything. Still not coming back. Still not getting rid of her. Still not sorry. Okay? Like sorry, but not sorry. So he's telling me all of these things. Okay? Now, he only came over once and we talked, and then, I was like, go fucking see a therapist, Greg. I was like, you got rid of me so easily. Like, it took you a while because you still had a motive. As a backup plan, as a friend's backup plan, but you still had a motive and it still took you a while. I said, fucking get rid of her. Oh, no, because I'm the one that caused her to get kicked out of the house and she has nowhere to go and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this conversation kind of goes back for a few months. Again, it's the same thing. Poor her, poor me, and I am verbally unleashing on him. What kind of piece of shit are you? You fuck up a good thing and you keep a bad thing. Who the fuck do you think you are? The whole 9 yards. Okay. So this brings us to the email situation with her. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not hearing what I feel I should be hearing. I'm not hearing any kind of remorse. I'm not hearing anything but she's the priority and he feels sorry for himself. So I'm not getting the result I want. She's so important to you. She's the only leverage I have to get back at you. So join us in the email with Bimbo.